Good afternoon. Could you please state and spell your name, both first and last, for the record?
Jay Gilbertson, first name J-A-Y, second name Gilbertson.
Where do you live, Mr. Gilbertson?
Could you, I have a little trouble hearing, can you?
Oh, sure. Yep, yell at me if I'm not loud enough. Where do you where did you reside in July of 2021?
In DeForest, right next door to the Haldersons.
Okay.
To the west.
And did you know Bart and Krista Halderson?
Yes.
Just as neighbors or anything more?
Pretty much just neighbors, you know, cordial, how you doing in the backyard type stuff. Never at their house, inside their house, never did anything with them, just that kind of cordial relationship.
Sure. Before the events of Bart and Krista going missing, did you know Chandler Halderson?
I may have seen him, but I'm not sure I knew the two brothers apart, you know, which one was Mitchell and which one was Chandler. I know I've waved to the boys at least one or two times.
Okay. And on July 8th, do you happen to have, you end up having a conversation with Chandler Halderson, is that true?
That is true.
What was the nature of that conversation?
He stopped over about 8:30, I think, in the morning. He said, "Hi, I'm Chandler." I'm paraphrasing. I said, "Hi." I said, "It's really weird about your parents." He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "It's, you know," I asked him something about the people that he went with, or the people that they went with, and were they missing too? He said not necessarily, or he didn't know. He talked about sending a friend or a relative to his parents' cottage to look for him. And he also asked if we had a security camera or surveillance equipment, and I said no, we didn't.
Okay, did you have any discussion at all about a neck brace?
I did ask him, I said, "Are you the one that fell down and had a neck brace, or was that your brother?" And he said, "No, it was me." And I said, "Oh, don't have to wear it, I guess," or something like that.
And was he wearing it on the 8th?
No.
And you said you had a discussion with him about the other couple. Did you mean the couple that supposedly had picked up Bart and Krista?
Right. I said, "Well, have you heard from them? Are they missing too?" And he said no, or not that he knows of, or something along those lines. And he said, I said, "Well, if they're missing, how are your parents going to get back from the cabin," or something along those lines. And he said he didn't think they were with them or they were coming back, or it was kind of vague.
Do you remember telling detectives in connection with this investigation that Chandler had told you that the other couple might have just continued on with their trip?
Yes.
Did that make any sense to you?
No. I'd never seen Bart or Krista get in the car with anybody else.
Okay. And what was Chandler Halderson's demeanor like during this conversation with you?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was Mr. Halderson Chandler's demeanor like during this conversation with you?
It was a little, maybe not nervous, because I can't really tell. I'd only never spoke with him, but maybe a little nervous or detached, or not all the way tuned in. As soon as I said some other people might have surveillance cameras in the neighborhood, he said, well, he was going to go talk with them. And then he just left, turned around, and I said, I think we said something like, good luck.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Any cross-examination?
Just to be clear, Mr. Gilbertson, you've never spoken with Chandler Halderson before that day, correct?
I do not think so. Again, I don't know. I didn't really know the names of the two brothers. I might have said hi, but it was never a long conversation.
And when you say you never saw Krista or Bart get into a car with other people, it's fair to say you're not watching them all the time, correct?
No, absolutely not.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
No.
May this witness be excused and released from his subpoena.
Yes.
Sir, thank you for your time
All
today.
done?
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
That takes us to a 90-minute mark, folks. So I think it's a good point to take our afternoon break, and we'll see you back here just before 3 o'clock.
All rise for the jury.
Go right ahead, Attorney Raymond.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your first and last name for the record and spell both?
Yes. Lisa, Lisa. Last name is Murray, Murray.
And Ms. Murray, where did you live in July of 2021?
At 4593 Oak Springs Circle in DeForest.
And you have kind of an interesting history with the 4595 Oak Springs Circle address. What is that history?
The 4595 Oak Springs addresser, the Halderson home, used to be my mother's home. She purchased the home in 1982, lived there until she passed away in 2009. I lived there for 2 or 3 years, and then I owned the vacant lot next door and built a new house right next door.
Okay. So fair to say you're very familiar with the neighborhood and with that home in particular.
Correct.
Did you know Bart and Krista Halderson?
I did.
How did you know them?
Being neighbors, just cordial, in the yard, how are you? Just chit chat.
Okay. Were you familiar with Chandler Halderson?
I had met Chandler maybe once or twice.
So you knew who he was, but not any particular intimate knowledge?
Correct.
Did you, though, have a conversation with Chandler Halderson on July 8th of 2021?
Yes, the morning of July 8th, about roughly 8:30 in the morning, somebody rang our doorbell. I answered the door and then called Jay, and Chandler was at the door and had just said, "Hi, I'm Chandler from next door." And we just said, we're sorry about your mom and dad, and he said, yeah, it's weird. And I think the next thing he said is he was looking for help, so he was looking to see if we had seen anything, if we had surveillance cameras or Ring doorbell. I responded no. That we did not have a Ring doorbell, and then I think, I think we kind of started asking maybe a little bit of questions.
What'd you ask?
Well, I know Jay asked, "Are you the one with the neck brace?" Because we had heard that one of the kids had fallen and had a neck brace. And Jay had just mentioned, "Is that you or your brother?" And he goes, "No, it's me." And Jay said, "Do you need to wear that?" And he responded, "No." And then he explained a bit about his parents, that somebody had picked him up, and he wasn't quite sure who had picked him up. And I guess it was unusual because we started asking questions and said, well, wouldn't that other couple be missing?
And what, if anything, did Chandler say to that?
He said, no, not necessarily. He said that other couple might have been going on to their next trip or continued on with their trip. And Jay had said, wouldn't they need to bring your parents back?
And did Chandler have any response to that?
He didn't have a response. He just was maybe an awkward silence and just said, I don't understand. My dad always drives.
How did that conversation end?
I think it had just become, uncomfortable for him. And after that, it was more, he just kind of turned around. Oh, I'm sorry, I did miss one part early on when he was asking about if we had surveillance. We said no, but we do know that other people down the street have high security system, or we also know other people that have Ring doorbells. I'm sorry, I missed that part, so.
That's okay.
But how it ended was he just kind of turned around and walked off the front porch, went down to the end of the driveway and looked left, looked right, and just started walking down the street to the left.
Ms. Murray, I'm going to approach you and have you look at what has been marked as Exhibit 54. Could you please describe Exhibit 54 for the jury?
Exhibit 54 is a picture of a window that I took.
Of whose house?
This is the Haldersons' home. The picture is the west side facing window into the garage. There are two side windows into the garage. This is the one that is the closest near the pond or the lake.
And what date did you take that picture?
I took it on July 7th at 5:20 p.m.
And does Exhibit 54 appear to be a true and accurate print of that picture that you took?
Yes.
I would move Exhibit 54 into evidence.
Any objection?
None.
It is received.
And I would ask to publish.
You may. The photo should show up on the computer monitor.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Murray, why in the world did you take a picture of your neighbor's window?
It was very unusual that the window was open. It was July. It was very hot. And those windows are never open. That side of the house, we see out that side of the house from three different sets of windows, from our kitchen, from our dining room, and from our sunroom. We can see that side. And there's only 4 windows on that side of the house. I've never seen a window open there.
Okay. And that struck you as unique and you wanted to document it in some way?
Very unique.
Is that window, you've lived in this home, is that window difficult to get to?
It is. It's kind of an awkward window. With it being at the end of the house, you have to walk around the cars to get there. I've never been in the home since the Haldersons owned it. You have to we owned it, you had to fall over a workbench area to get to the window. So it really was an awkward window to open.
And the Haldersons had lived in that home approximately 5 years?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, that's the only time you observed that window open was July 7th of 2021?
Correct.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
Just to be clear, that window goes into the garage,
Correct.
and you didn't have any reason to know what was the layout inside the garage at that time, correct?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
You hadn't been in that garage recently, correct?
Correct.
That's all, thank you.
Any redirect?
No.
May this witness be excused and released from subpoenas?
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Could you please state both your first and last name and spell both for the record?
Eric Novak, EricNovak.
And can you just pull that microphone right in front of your mouth there?
The fans are running, and some tones of voice don't get picked up as well. So we want you to be comfortable. That can be moved as close as can be.
Eric, do you know somebody by the name of Chandler Halderson?
Yes.
How do you know Chandler Halderson?
I met him in middle school, and we've been friends since then, and we lived together 2 years ago.
Okay. I believe the court will probably direct everyone but the jury to remove their masks for a few seconds. But do you see Mr. Halderson in the courtroom today?
Before answering, I would ask anyone who's not in the jury box to lower their mask as I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and replace your masks.
Yes.
Could you identify him by where he's seated and the color of his shirt?
He's seated on that table, third from the right, and he's wearing a black suit.
Okay. Thank you. At some point in time, did you learn, or from a news story or wherever, that Mr. Halderson's parents were missing?
Yes,
And did you reach out to Mr. Halderson?
I did.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 56. Is Exhibit 56, is it fair to say that is screenshots of messages between you and Chandler?
Yes.
And you call him Chaz?
Yes.
I would move Exhibit 56 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
All right, and there should be a little screen in front of you, which hopefully I'll try to move it so you can read. And I just thought it might be easiest just to read through these. So is the blue part what you say?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and read what you first wrote to Chandler?
Hey Chaz, saw a post about your parents. Wanted to check up with you. If you need anything or I can do anything to help, happy to do it.
And then Chaz responds, and you sent that message on July 8th at 10:55 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay. And it appears that Chandler responds, I appreciate it. I'm sorry, but I don't have a name to this number. So who may this be?
Eric.
Sorry, I can't think of anything to do. I've searched the house with the cops for clues, but I couldn't find anything. Fingers crossed that they get the court order to open up their laptop. And then I believe
They went up to the cabin, right? They haven't tried tracking their phones?
we need a court order for that. Every time I call, it goes straight to voicemail. So I think the phones are off or out of range.
Okay, hopefully they move on that. When were they supposed to be back?
Monday, Tuesday.
Have you been able to reach them at all since they left?
They sent a text on Sunday, but I don't know when they made it because of the reception.
I see. I'm not really sure what to do either,
Or how to help.
or how to help.
All right, and that was basically your conversation via text with Chandler?
Yes.
On July 8th? So I know you don't know a lot about this case, but during your friendship with Chandler, did you guys ever go swimming?
Yes.
Where'd you guys go swimming?
We went up to a beach in Sauk City.
Okay, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 55. Could you please describe Exhibit 55?
So on the right of the picture, that's kind of the area we would walk to. And then we'd swim over there and go to the sandbar in the middle.
Okay. So you said over to the right. I don't think everyone can see that. Okay. Over to the right here is where you would walk to?
Yes.
Okay. And then you would swim to the sandbar in the middle?
Yes.
And does this picture, Exhibit 55, appear to be a true and accurate depiction of that area as far as you know it?
As far as I know, yes.
All right. I'd move Exhibit 55 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
No further questions.
Any questions?
No, thank you.
May the witness be excused and released?
He may be excused but not released.
You are excused from any further testimony today, but you're still under subpoena to the state. Thank you very much. Have a good remainder of your day.
Thank you. You too.
All right.